An Orange County tattoo artist is making moves today to ask state leaders when his shop can reopen. And the number of coronavirus cases in Hardin County is beginning to drop.
Live from the KFDM studios, you're watching 6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for News at Noon. I'm Kelsey Borza. We begin this afternoon with the latest number of coronavirus cases in the area. The city of Beaumont is reporting 5 new cases, bringing the total to 295 for Beaumont and 303 for Beaumont surrounding areas. Among the 5 new cases, 1 patient is between 11 and 20 years of age. 2 cases are people between 21 and 30 years old, and 2 more between 31 and 40. No new deaths to report. That number remains 19. Breaking down the numbers by our 6-county region, there are now 621 total cases, 381 in Jefferson County, Hardin with 115 cases, 84 in Orange, 29 in Jasper, 8 in Tyler, and 4 in Newton County. No new deaths to report. That number sits at 32 today. Right now, the number of coronavirus cases is beginning to flatten in parts of southeast Texas, including Hardin County. However, there are still some concerns there. County Judge Wayne McDaniel says a Lumberton man in his mid-60s died Saturday from COVID-19. Also, the Whataburger in Silsbee temporarily closed after an employee tested positive for the virus. The owner says all employees will now be tested and the building will be sanitized. Last week, new numbers showed there were now 20 active cases in Hardin County out of the 115 positives since testing began. On April 30th, the governor's stay-at-home orders were lifted across Texas. Judge McDaniel says it's imperative that people in the county continue to practice social distancing and best sanitation practices.
We're not seeing that spike in cases that we were told may happen. Of course, I know that we still have a little time to go before we determine or see whether or not that happens, but I continue to hope and pray that we see the numbers continue to go down as they have been throughout the past week.
And in Coons, across from the courthouse, a testing site will be set up Thursday, May 14th. You must register before going there for testing. If not a lot of people sign up, the county judge says they will find a different location for testing in the county. An update this afternoon to a story we first brought you late last week. A Southeast Texas tattoo artist tells us he's talking with state leaders in a teleconference this afternoon with the goal of reopening tattoo shops in Texas. The move comes after a story by our Angel San Juan. State reps James White and Dade Phelan contacted Angel and got the ball rolling. Randall Doolittle, better known as Flipper, owns Flipper's Skin Flicks, professional tattoo and body piercing studio that's in Bridge City. Flipper has been a tattoo artist for nearly 30 years, operating in Bridge City since 2001. But he says if he's not allowed to reopen in 2 weeks, he will lose his shop. Flipper tells us he's lost more than $16,000 since the state forced him to close in March. Today at 1 o'clock, he'll be meeting in a teleconference with Phelan and White and a member of the State Department of State Health Services. Doolittle says their profession is one of the best trained in health and sanitation practices and that most shops are already taking COVID precautions before the virus even registered on the radar of many politicians. Southeast Texas Representative Dade Phelan agrees with Flipper. He told us, quote, "I know small businesses, they can operate in a responsible and reasonable way that respects public health. There's no reason why they can't open." Phelan went on to say it's not right for government to pick winners and losers. New at noon, the Coast Guard is searching for a missing boater in West Bay near Galveston today. Authorities say 63-year-old Danny Wren was last seen wearing a red shirt with no life jacket on his boat. Around 11:15 last night, Houston-Galveston watchstanders were notified of a missing boater near Middle Deer Island who had lost control of his 16-foot skiff while attempting to retrieve his brother, who was wade fishing at the time. The brother last saw him clinging to the side of the skiff. If you have any information about Wren's whereabouts or see any evidence of his boat, you're asked to call the Coast Guard Command Center, or you can just dial 911 and give them any information. Time now to turn our attention to the weather. Man, a beautiful weekend we had. I know I went outside, Dana, and took advantage of it. So more of the same,
maybe. Tell me you guys cranked the motorcycle up.
Shane is on crutches. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So no.
No, yeah. the wise choice. But yeah, what a great weekend it was, wasn't it? I mean, beautiful motorcycle, convertible, just strolling out in the park, whatever the case may be. We had a great weekend, and today following suit with the sunshine that our satellite and radar composite is looking at. I mean, we're not even getting those little thin fair weather clouds we saw early this morning outside of Lufkin and College Station. We've got to back out on the 6-hour loop to even see anything significant cloud work. We've got a good strong ridge of high pressure that continues to build in to extreme southeast Texas. Now, with that said, we started off on a cool note this morning. It was just really nice. We'll get up to the 82-degree mark, lower 80s in for the next few hours or so. No rain chances today, but we'll update you on those rain chances coming up in our full forecast. Kelsey?
Well, with most states now easing restrictions, a widely used model shows the projected death toll from the coronavirus has gone up again. Researchers at the University of Washington now say more than 137,000 people nationwide could die by early August. Elise Preston reports from New York.
Arizona is reopening dine-in restaurants today, including this burger place in Phoenix.
Financially, it's been tough. We've lost hundreds and hundreds of gigs.
Restaurants are taking safety precautions, but even still, death toll projections for Arizona have tripled. Updated predictions from the University of Washington show COVID-19 deaths are increasing more than researchers expected in several states, including California, Arizona, and Florida.
We're seeing just explosive increases in mobility in a number of states that we expect will translate into more cases and deaths, in 10 days from now.
In Florida, where the projected death toll has increased by nearly 1,500, city leaders in Naples say the beach was so overrun at the start of the weekend, they reclosed it Sunday morning.
No social distancing at all, no masks.
In Colorado, a restaurant that reopened in defiance of a statewide public health order drew massive crowds over the weekend. And in Wisconsin, protesters rallied to reopen churches.
Here in New York, the governor announced new rules for nursing homes, including requiring staff members to be tested twice a week. And hospitals cannot discharge patients to nursing homes unless they test negative for the virus.
Statewide, more than 5,000 nursing home residents have died from the virus. And a California doctor received a round of applause as he returned to work in Sacramento after treating patients for COVID-19 in New York City the last 2 weeks. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
2 people at the White House have now tested positive for the coronavirus, prompting some of the health experts on the coronavirus task force to go into self-quarantine. But not everyone who has come into contact with the individuals is staying out of the office. Natalie Brand has those details from the White House.
Vice President Mike Pence is back at the White House working this morning despite his press secretary Katie Miller testing positive for COVID-19 late last week.
It is scary to go to work. I was not part of the White House in March. I think that I'd be a lot safer if I was sitting at home than I would be going to the West Wing. But, it's a time when people have to step up and serve their country.
Dr. Anthony Fauci, CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield, and FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hahn are in some form of self-quarantine and will testify remotely before a Senate committee tomorrow. White House officials say the new cases do not step on the president's push for states to reopen.
I don't think it changes the push to go back to work in any way. I think we've been very consistent. The president's been very consistent. We want to open the economy in a clear and careful way, balancing the medical issues with the economic issues.
Vice President Pence held a conference call with governors this morning as more states move to loosen restrictions.
Some state leaders say they still need more testing before fully opening back up. President Trump has a news conference this afternoon expected to address the issue.
The FDA has issued emergency use authorization for a new antigen test. It looks for fragments of virus proteins and samples collected from the nasal cavity and provides results in just minutes. But the FDA warns it has a higher chance of false negatives.
True, there's a slightly higher false negative rate. It's not dramatically higher, it's slightly higher. But the trade-off is you could do lots of these inexpensively.
California-based Quidel is the only company authorized to produce the antigen test at this time, but the FDA says it expects more to follow. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Still ahead on News at Noon, people had to get creative for Mother's Day this year, especially those who couldn't physically visit their moms. We'll show you what they did to say thanks.
Weather-wise, we enjoyed a beautiful weekend, and of course that included Mother's Day. We'll have some changes in by midweek. We'll talk about them after the break.
And now, Dana Malone-Son, the Weather Authority.
Hopefully you enjoyed your weekend, obviously Mother's Day. Now, whether or not you were able to visit mom face-to-face, you might have had to do the social distancing type of visit, or maybe postpone it until conditions get a little bit more favorable. Whatever the case may be, the weather certainly was beautiful here locally in southeast Texas as far as Mother's Day was concerned. And we've got a lot of that repeating today. Our live weather network of cameras from Do Good Credit Union. This is one of our newer cameras. In fact, we'll feature both new cameras. Altus Lumberton Hospital. We're in Lumberton, obviously, mounted atop the hospital, and we're on Highway 69. You can see the 5-point location: Stewart Title, Farmers Insurance, Cedar Heights, Shot King's Pharmacy. All of the locations there with a picture-perfect start. Breeze is going to be rocking the camera a little bit, but this is our other newest camera, or newest, I guess, camera from GB Dumpster and Demolition. We're located at Sabine Pass. The camera's located in Sabine Pass, and we've got the view tightened up as much as we can to show you the causeway going over Texas, and we got Louisiana in the shot as well. But the breeze, be it ever so light, even there along the coast, will keep the camera a little unsteady. However, at our Market Basket WeatherNet site in Port Neches, everything totally steady as far as the weather is concerned. Hey, how about 75 degrees to start the morning off? And a very comfortable humidity reading too, 51%. Here at the Nature's River Wheelhouse in Port Neches, we're looking at east-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour, which is actually pretty much spot on. As far as, this morning we started off more of an east-northeasterly wind component, but seeing that wind shift out of the south and east as the hours progress. Here's our 6-hour satellite radar composite as well. Rain activity is on the map, not locally. We would have to zoom out to show you exactly where some of those showers are, but it's actually north of the Red River at this point. We'll see rains back into our area, but what little bit we're going to be talking about will be on Wednesday to start. Our hour-by-hour forecast does have us peaking right around the lower 80s, and we stay around that 80 mark at least from 2 to say 5 o'clock, and then we'll see temperatures start to fall slowly at that point. Houston is at 80 right now. We're at 78, Jasper, Beaumont, so close to it. Lake Charles at 77. Pretty warm at the beach too, at 79 down in Galveston. Here's our look ahead, and again, our model as of now, mainly an easterly wind component, but earlier this morning it was a northeasterly wind component. We're still looking at that effect of high pressure that kept us very, very nice over the course of the weekend with sinking air and stability in place. But with the way the winds rotate around that high, it's ejecting, and we're starting to see the winds slowly but surely creep out of the south and east. But also, this is our Tuesday forecast, and the majority of our Tuesday will see partly cloudy skies. Moisture, we do see it on our models, but it stays north of us at this point. Shreveport, Louisiana could see some of that, but we're also seeing it outside of Dallas, west of Dallas at this point. But it's not until Wednesday until we start to get some organization as far as some small spotty showers that'll work its way into the area Wednesday afternoon to equate to about a 20% is about the best we'll do on Wednesday. But today, if you have not already made lunch plans, enjoy it outside. Maybe you're going to check out one of the dining facilities of your choice and enjoy maybe dining outside, because we've got 82. Our high temperature, lots of sunshine right now. Still warm tomorrow, in fact warmer at 84 with a chance of rain returning on our Wednesday. More on News at Noon after the break. Stay with us.
Well, this year, Mother's Day was difficult for so many of us, but I was pleasantly surprised with all the different ways people chose to honor their moms this weekend, despite what we were going through. I talked to two families, one who participated in a parade for their mom and another who took on a home renovation project.
It's so hard. It is so hard for us to not visit her. And then we got a letter in the mail and a text message saying that they had received authorization from the county to do a Mother's Day / Father's Day parade. You know, decorate your car, make a poster board, whatever, you know. And my granddaughter and I went. And when we got there, I couldn't believe how many cars were there. The fire department and police department were there directing us. And we went all around the nursing home 2 or 3 times. And it was just awesome. It was really awesome. The staff would, you know, say, "Who are you looking for?" You know, and you'd yell out the name, and they brought my mom up to the gate, and she waved at us, and it was just lovely. It really was.
Mom!
Hey!
There they are!
Love you! Happy Mother's Day, everyone!
What was the look on her face telling you? What was her reaction?
The same look that we get every time we visit her. She's got Alzheimer's, you know, so she's in the secure unit. So we never know what to expect. But when we go to visit her and we walk up, and as soon as she sees us, she just lights up, you know, and her eyes she looks so pleasantly surprised, you know. And that's the same look. So I know that she knew who we were even from a distance, you know. And so same look that we get every time we see her.
If you could explain to me kind of how the past couple of months have been difficult for your family and what you decided to do to make this Mother's Day special.
So about last month, my parents had the virus and my sister as well. Me and my brother haven't had it. But my family is going to sell their house in a year or two, so they wanted to do some renovations to the house. So, of course, since the virus, they couldn't really do that because they were quarantined and didn't really feel very well. So for Mother's Day, we decided to kind of redo the deck outside. It was an all-day task, and we're still doing some stuff to it. But I just figured that would be nice so they didn't have to do that. So
the 3 children came together and made it all happen?
Yes.
Yes.
We had to paint our deck outside, and we had to paint some furniture. We painted more furniture.
I pressure washed all the furniture. I
Kate,
pressure washed the deck, the fence, so they could clean it and do it.
So he had to pressure wash everything first, so we could do all of that. So that took a couple hours to pressure wash and let it dry completely. And so then we painted everything. We have plants, we have new cushions. It kind of gave it some life. It makes it look a little more earthy.
This year is kind of one of those years where you might look back and think that was such a hard time that we had to go through. But are you going to look back on this year and think, wow, what a special Mother's Day they made it?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's been a challenging year. This time last year, I had open heart surgery on Mother's Day and made that through. And then the 3 of us, the last couple months, been sick, but we all recovered and did well. So it was pretty neat. It was very thoughtful for them. I'm always going to remember this.
Well, families and friends are connecting with video calls amid the pandemic, but some people are using them to get in touch with a more wild side. We'll have that next on News at Noon. Video calls are bringing together families and friends during the pandemic. And as Nancy Chen shows us, some people are also taking a walk on the wild side virtually.
The cows Llamas and goats at this Northern California farm are figuring out their best angles.
He's super friendly.
Nate Salpeter is a co-founder of Sweet Farm, a nonprofit sanctuary now offering animal cameos on Zoom. He says demand is so high, they've booked more than 600 appointments. Sessions start at $65 for a happy hour appearance, with extended tours for $250.
What's been some of the more unique events that you've been part of?
Let's see, we had our first wedding that we called into the other day. We called in with Paco the llama.
These video calls are going to the dogs. Ricochet is a surfing therapy dog in San Diego. Her handler, Judy Fredono, was inspired by their work with veterans, so she's now offering free virtual visits to healthcare workers under stress.
If you hold back your anger, that just ends up festering. So if you can tell Ricochet what you're angry about, it doesn't affect anybody.
Diana Muchagamba spent an hour talking with Ricochet. The San Antonio nurse has been working with critically ill coronavirus patients.
I feel good having let it out. Having had someone to listen without judgment, that was hugely important.
While the visits are virtual, the much needed relief is not.
It's a way to, break from the norm, the new norm, I should say, and get outside even through a video screen. It's a very uplifting opportunity for folks.
Making staying in until the cows come home a bit easier. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
And in other zoo news, a biological refuge in Brazil welcomed a fluffy harpy eagle hatchling into the world as part of their efforts to help preserve the species. The hatchling was born on April 26th and is the 50th harpy eagle born at the center, which, according to the refuge veterinarian, is the largest center of reproduction for harpy eagles in captivity in the world. Harpy eagles have been named a near-threatened species for conservation of nature and are considered among the largest eagle species in the world. Dana, I keep wanting to say the happy eagle. It's a harpy eagle.
The eagle is probably a happy harpy eagle, to be honest with you. And in this kind of weather, why wouldn't you be? Sunny skies in. We got a few clouds building in with middle 80s existing through the weekend. Kelsey?
All right. Thank you very much, Dana. That does it for us today for News at Noon. Have a great rest of your Monday.